Hey, AP Micro, this is the donut question video. I just want to go through, and this sometimes is a little bit tricky to make sure you fully understand how to do the calculations, how to find profit, how to find the optimal quantity. So I'm just going to do a really quick video on problem number 1 from the donut question problems, and obviously there are like 8 of these. So I will walk through the process for one of these, and so hopefully that helps all the answers make sense to you for the rest of them. All right, so if we look at number 1, and by the way, I want to back up. If you're looking at this video before you actually do the project, perfectly fine. But make sure that you don't look at the key to find out what the answer is, then go backwards from there. Right? So try to do like one problem or 2 problems, or do like all of them, and then look at the keys. If you look at the key, you're going to see the answers for the next few. So make sure, at least for this first side, that you try to do it yourself. If you look at the very first one, you're like, I have no idea where to begin. Well, obviously this video is going to help you, and then you can go back and do the first one, then do the second, third, and fourth, and then go back and then check the key to see if you did that first page correct. So that's just kind of a little disclaimer as we go through. So this is perfect competition. And all of this information is knowing we have a perfectly competitive firm, even though it doesn't state it. How many units should be produced if the price is $3.75? A few different assumptions you have to make. If you know the price is $3.75, this being perfect competition, remember in perfect competition that the price is equal to MR, right? Because it's a perfectly elastic line. And so we do not have an MR column here. And so that's why you have to do the transferable learning to know that if the price is $3.75, the marginal revenue is $3.75. And so now if I want to find the actual output, when it says how many units should be produced, I want to find the profit maximizing output. And that's where MR equals MC. So remember before, we take $3.75, go down the marginal cost until the first marginal cost is more than $3.75, and go up 1, which tells us that we have a quantity of 300. Right? And so again, we go to MR equals MC, or you go down to where marginal cost is more than marginal revenue by the very first showing of that, and you go back up 1. What's the profit or loss? Remember that profit or loss is all about the relationship between price and ATC. If price is more than ATC, that means, because remember, price is your average revenue. If I sell one thing for $10, or in this case here, $3.75, the average revenue I'm getting for that is $3.75. And so what ends up happening then, I should compare how much revenue I get on average for a unit to how much it costs me per unit. And the cost per unit is your ATC. And so I need to find at $3.75 is my price. At a quantity of 300, I need to figure out my ATC is $3.25. What's the difference between these two is 50 cents. And take 50 cents times your overall quantity, because it'd be 50 cents of profit per unit, but it says what's the total profit or loss. And so it's 50 cents times 300, which is why you get $150. The next one, it says, should the firm produce? And the answer is yes. The reason why the firm should produce is because if you go back a couple videos, it talks about a perfect competition producing is dependent upon the relationship between price and AVC. So if we're producing 300 units, at 300 units, if my price is $3.75, the AVC at 300 units is $2.58. So it's well above that point. So really, any time that you're making a profit, yes, you will produce. This may be a no. Remember, this is going to be a no if your price, well, let's just say at 300, if my price was $2.50, then you would not produce. For whatever your optimal quantity is, that's what you have to pay attention to. Where would this firm actually break even? Remember that the break-even point is you break even if your price is at the minimum point of your ATC. So what your answer can't be, well, they break even at $3.75. Yeah, I get that, but when it asks you about where's the break-even point, they're asking you for where does the price have to change in order for you to break even. So right now, my price of $3.75 may be up here. And so what they're asking you is, where does this price have to shift down to in order for you to break even? Well, it has to go all the way down to the minimum of the ATC, which according to this is $3.20. That's where you break even. Where's the shutdown point? You would shut down if this price drops to the minimum, to the minimum of your AVC. In that case, your minimum of your AVC is $2.38 because that's the lowest point here. So again, we're using the learning, we're transferring the learning from before, and now we're applying the learning. And then what quantity is productively efficient? Well, I think that if you hopefully recall from one of the other videos that we have done before or from the class lectures, that you are productively efficient if your quantity that you're producing is at the minimum of the ATC. Well, the minimum of the ATC is $3.20, which is a quantity of $250. Right, so that is the answer to problem number 1 on the donut question. You will have to go through and figure out all the different things from, how do I determine profit? How do I determine the profit maximizing optimal quantity? How do I know if I produce? So if the price is above ABC, you produce. If the price is below ABC, you shut down. You can also compare finding out what your fixed costs are. Here, my fixed costs are $200. So if your loss, in this case here, if your loss would be $250 if you produce, well then you would actually shut down because you'd be losing less money by shutting down. You'd be losing $200 instead of losing $250. So again, I hope that really helps you understand the donut questions and it helps you understand how to apply the knowledge from Perfect Competition to this handout. Peace out.